What's going on, YouTube? Wanted to give you guys an update on the 75-gallon aquarium. I have some new inhabitants and I also have some new equipment and a few things I want to talk about in this video. So let's go ahead and get it started. First and foremost, I got a blue-eyed Kole Tang. Once again, this is a 75-gallon aquarium, so there's only a handful of tangs that are actually suitable for this size aquarium, and this is one of them. And I had an issue with hair algae, and he came in here and knocked it out in about 3 or 4 days. Another thing I want to speak on is my diamond goby. He's no longer with us. He actually took flight and jumped out of the tank and ended up on my floor. When I found him, he was still alive, but once I put him in the tank, he was gasping for air, and he eventually succumbed to his injuries. Another thing I want to talk about, and something that most of you may find you may not be, what's the word I want to use? You may not be in favor of this, but I put a little fake anemone down here just to see what happens, just to add some color. I don't really know why. I just saw it at PetSmart and got it. The clownfish are actually hosting it. Every night they sleep in it. So if there's ever a question of, will clownfish actually host a fake anemone? Yes, they will, because these two are doing it as we speak. Just recently picked up the Hollywood Stunner Chalice here. I'm absolutely in love with it. I can't wait for it to take over this whole little bottom rock area here. I'm hoping I'm not giving it too much par. I'll be honest with you guys. The light that I have is not the best. According to what it says, down here it should be somewhere in between 80 or 100 par. But that's what they advertise. So, people aren't necessarily the most truthful. You know how that goes. So I actually want to find a way to, do a par reading in my aquarium to see if I need to change anything, bump it up, or whatever. But hopefully this chalice will do good down here. I think they don't like too much light. So I guess we'll see what happens. And it's only been in here for maybe 4 days or something like that. Also, I have this Rasta zoanthid that is really, really, really amazing to me. I had another one too. But this is the one with 2 polyps on it, and I just absolutely love this thing. The video is not doing it justice. I went to Worldwide Coral this past weekend and picked up some goodies, one of them being the watermelon samakora. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. That's back there. That's the orange coral back there. They had a sale on them, so I had to pick it up. I absolutely love it. It gives my tank just a little bit of color. Once again, the video is not doing it as much justice as it should. And also, my glass here is not the cleanest, to be honest with you guys. One of the things that when I was, doing my research and watching YouTube videos, the one thing I could never understand is when somebody did a video and, there was the little spots, if I come over here and you can see the spots on the side glass there. Also getting some coralline algae growing on the glass, which more of it will grow on the rocks. But I'm getting sidetracked. So I would see stuff like that, especially on the back wall of, someone's aquarium. And I would go, why don't they clean that? That looks so ugly to me. Why won't they just get in there and clean it? They just need to get in there and clean it. And now that I have an aquarium and it's been running for I want to say 5 or 6 months, I totally understand. Man, the maintenance on these things are just out of this world. And it seems like you clean it one day and 2 days later, it's right back. And you get to a point where you're just man, I'll just deal with looking at it. But make sure you keep up on your maintenance. So that's not an excuse, but when things come back a day or 2 later, you're just man. Since he wants to get in the camera view, this is my Canary Blenny. I actually wanted to get the Midas Blenny. But the price of the Midas Blenny has gone up about $25 since I got into the hobby. And the local fish store had a Canary Blenny, which was $27. So that's what I got, and it's doing what I wanted the Midas Blender to do. So it's a good purchase to me. Let's see here. Also, I have a red Fromia starfish. He's been in here about a month or so. Actually, probably I'll say 5 weeks. And it was kind of an impulse buy, which you shouldn't do, but it was an impulse buy. It was one of those days where you go to the fish store and you have some money burning in your pocket, and you're looking at the fish, and none of the fish are really jumping out at you, but you see that they have the starfish, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm taking that home. But doing research on the starfish, because I always knew I wanted one. I saw things that said, "Oh, well, you shouldn't put a starfish in your tank until after it's at least a year old," and this, that, and the third. And it was a lot of conflicting information. And so, like I said, it was just an impulse buy, and I got it, and so far so good. Because I read stories about people buying these things, and in like a week they're dead. But he's pretty active in the aquarium. He doesn't really go on the rocks. This is actually very rare for him to go on the rocks. He's usually on the glass somewhere, but hey, I guess he's doing his thing. Oh yeah. Also, while I was at Worldwide Coral, I picked up the Waving Hand Anthelia. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Absolutely love this thing. The video is not doing it justice. It's open, but it's not like all the way open, if that makes sense. So it's a little bigger than what it is right now. Like I said, I just did a water change not too long ago, and some of the coral aren't happy. This is going to be like my little mushroom area kind of thing. I know there's a cabbage leather there, but this is going to be like, the mushroom hangout spot here. I also still have the Recordia down there. He's not happy right now. The Blasto is doing real good down here on this rock. Another bit of advice for anybody that's new, that's looking to get into the hobby. When you're doing your rock work, make sure you set up your rock work in a way that has a lot of little holes for your plugs to go in. When you're setting it up, if I was you, I would just go buy some plugs from a local fish store that's 50 cent, dollar, however much it is, and just go around your tank and just put in that plug, making sure that each rock, because it could just be a matter of just turning the rock around or turning the rock another way or something like that, that would give you more places to place frags. Because that's one of the issues that I'm having right now, is that, like right here, I feel like this is a blank area, and I really want to put something there, but there's no holes there for it. And if it's kind of be hard for me to show you, but on the other side of the rock, there would be plenty of places to put coral. But, I just put the rock work together and put it in the tank and thought about coral later. So just make sure you take some time in your planning, so to say. All right. I talked about the starfish. I talked about the tang. Talked about some of the coral that I picked up from Worldwide Coral down in Orlando this past weekend. Oh, let's talk about some of the bad things. So, yeah, it's in my tank, Aptasia. I have some Aptasia X, and I know you guys are looking at it like, why is the sand on his rock like that? I had the bright idea of maybe I could suffocate it, but of course that didn't work. I'm actually kind of nervous about using the Aptasia X. I just don't want any of it to get on any of my other coral. Uh-oh. Is my cleaner shrimp cleaning the chromis? Pretty cool to catch that on camera. Anyways, so I have some Aptasia. There's about 3 or 4 of them in the tank. And like I said, I'm just kind of nervous about using the Aptasia X because I don't want it to, bother any of the coral in the tank. Let's see here. I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you guys something. I think that's about it in the tank. So, one of the things that I do want to speak on is some of the equipment. So, as you can see, I have some real ugly tubing in my aquarium here, and those are air stones that I have running because I'm not sure if I told you guys in the last video, but I've had a few fish die on me. And I was getting tests done. I was getting tests done. I was getting tests done. And every time I did a test, they were just like, well, your nitrates are, they're a little high, but nothing alarming. Your phosphates, a little high, nothing alarming. But there's nothing else from our testing that shows why your fish are dying. So I had a Royal Grandma die on me, and I'm just like, okay. So I'm going to the fish. I'm like, it has to be something. Sure, it's not. Can't be anything else. And I'm sitting there talking to the guy, and the guy's like, "You have hang on the backs on your aquarium, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he said, "Try adding the air stone to it and see what happens." And so, me being me, I added 2 of them, and so far so good. So I'm glad I added them because, like I said, I haven't had a fish die since I added them. However, the tubing is so ugly in this thing. I'm thinking about swapping them out for black tubing and cutting the lines a little shorter so they sort of kind of hang on the back of the aquarium. But the only reason why they're sort of kind of curved like that is because I have one of my power heads back there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. Probably not because it's black. But I have a power head right there that's kind of pushing it over like that. And then I have another power head here. That's another thing. I added another power head. So both of these power heads are 1250 GPH. And then I also have a protein skimmer now. Like I said, I just did a water change, so it's not foaming up at the second. But I added a protein skimmer, and this is the Cyclone 100 protein skimmer by Instant Ocean, I believe. And it sort of kind of does what I needed to do. Every other day or so, it gets to about right here, and I'll dump it out. I still have one of the hang on the backs running on the aquarium because this is just an area for me to add biomedia, and if I ever need to run activated carbon or false guard or anything of that nature, it's here, and it's just a compartment that I can run it through. Now, what I am thinking about doing is adding the hang on the back filter that I took off and putting it back here, leaving the protein skimmer, but putting it back here and using it as a small refugium because the hang on the back is pretty thick. It's probably, I want to say, probably a good 8 inches long and probably about a good 4 or 5 inches wide. So I was thinking about using that as a refugium just to help with the nitrates, the phosphates, maybe put some pods in there or something. I don't know, but just using it as a refugium just to help with the overall health of the tank. Let's see here. I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you guys something. Oh my gosh, that tubing is so ugly. Now the heater back there doesn't bother me, and the drop down from the hang on the back there doesn't bother me, but this tubing really bothers me. I really hate looking at it. I'm surprised I haven't done anything about it, but I guess because it's doing its job, it's I haven't really bothered with it. But I'm going to get to it pretty soon. Hopefully by the next update, I'll either have black tubing or something to make it look a little better. But everything in the aquarium is doing a-okay right now. I have some daisy corals, but that are really lovely, but they close up towards the end of the night. And right now, it's about 10:50 at night here. And so, like I said, when the lights are sort of kind of dimming down, they sort of kind of close up and almost become non-existent. So there's actually one right there, and it's bigger than that one. And I can only see a couple of the little heads on it. The King tree is still doing really good. It actually dropped a limb, and I tried to make a frag out of it. Hey, listen, I was trying to put it in the middle, but as you can see, that didn't happen. So, for my first frag, I guess I did an okay job. But like I said, I was trying to put it in the middle, but that didn't work out. Just trying to think. Once again, I mentioned my roster zoanthus. I have some other zoanthus here. I'm not sure of the variety of them, but they were just some, they just look nice in the fish store, and I put them there. So these two rocks are going to be like my zoanthic garden, I guess you can call it. And I guess I'm going to keep this as the chalice garden, if you would call it that, I guess. And I'm going to have my encrusting corals up here. I do have a bird's nest there. Did I get that from Worldwide? Yeah, I did get that from Worldwide Coral. I got the bird's nest from there too. But I think I'm going to add another encrusting coral and just let them grow there. The Kenya tree is going to stay here. Have a clove polyp up there. The daisies. I have the oh my gosh, what's the name of it? The Polythea grandis, however you pronounce it. Right here, I'm just going to let it do its thing. That's a dunking coral. It's closed up right now. I'm going to let the waving hand do its thing in this little area here. I heard they grow pretty fast, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. There's a xenia up in there that's closed up. Once again, this is going to be the mushroom garden area. I have another Polythea grandis, or grand, however you pronounce it, over here on the side there. And have a little pipe organ down there. I'm not sure I'm going to keep the pipe organ down there. But, and I have the blasto right there. And that's pretty much it. That's going on in the tank. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this whole video. It's actually 17 minutes. Wow. This is not my first time recording this video. And the other times I recorded it, it was only like 7 minutes. So it's actually pretty crazy that this one is 17. So once again, if you have any tips or advice for somebody who's only been in the hobby for 6 months, if you think, well, you probably shouldn't have that coral up there, or, you probably should move this or move that, or here's an idea for a refugium that would be better than to hang on the back or whatever, please leave a comment. Please let me know, because I'm not one of those people that can't take advice. So please leave a comment. If you think the aquarium is looking nice, let me know, and I'll keep you guys updated. See you guys next time.